Many years ago, before the other engines arrived, or since I haven't built it yet, there was an old engine who works on this railway. They say you look like Donald or Douglas since the Borno number, which is he looks friendly, but childish that he looks simple. And he always doesn't mind those disturbing noises with the other engines. And so was that engine, who is always known Caledonian. For a short name, is Caledon. He always helping to the other engines. Indeed, Caledon was very friendly once the engines got to know them. The other engines were impressed. They liked Caledonian. Except, well, Donald or Douglas. They're impressed that they thought he looked special. However, one engine of the big one who was not friendly at all. In fact, he was a very awful engine. They say that engine who always doesn't like it for those steam engines, he was more fascinated than diesels. And ever since, which is out of date, and his steam has been black, no one quite knows. He wants you to take a rest about it, until one day, he went too far. That night, Caledon was in the siding, looked around while the engines are working here. He waited and waited, no one was there. But the big engine had a railgun, and he was heading towards Caledon. And Caledon went away to get back to the shed. Then he heard a puffing noise. The noise was the big engine with a railgun. Caledon was so startled, he shot it in with his boiler as he quickly ran away, and the big engine chased after him. He raced down the line as he went faster and faster. Stop! And the big engine said stop. And also Caledon stopped it. Hold it! Or else I'm gonna shoot you towards the bridge! He told us to stop again, when we had to shoot. He again refused. Suddenly, no! And so, Caledon was childly burned and killed in the accident. But I'm sorry to say, the big engine didn't care about her, so she blamed him. So, he quickly ran away, and no one even noticed him. And the manager believed him. She was ashamed for the body sent for scrap that evening. And so was arranged, but the driver noticed that the body from the scrapyard. Caledon lying on his side. He is unrepaired and dead. But the driver of the dead engine was filled with rage from the manager believing the big bully engine. He took the engine's body somewhere and disappeared. People believe that someone on the mainland because nothing was seen from them ever since. From months later, some austerities are in the siding and they're sleeping on the station behind. The big engine looked at the three austerities. He smirked and he wanted to kill them because he wanted to be better than the diesels, until he heard hissing. It sounded like another engine. So she had to find out. But what they did know was there something coming. The engine went closer and closer. As he came here, the mist started to clear. It wasn't the innocent engine anymore. Or perhaps what was there was a vengeful, massacred, and undead engine with his eyes all black with white glowing pupils. All they could do is the big engine screamed and blow his whistle. One austerity woke up, and he could do nothing but pale, and he noticed that the engine was scary, and he heard a shrill whistle. And the Caledonian engine followed the big engine. The austerity felt scared. Even more scared than that, he closed his eyes and prepared for the worst. The big engine raced off with fright, and Caledonian followed the big engine with a big grin on its face. The big engine was so scared. He raced past the station, raced past the signal box, and his cylinders creaked with pain, and he went past the level crossing gates. Little did they know that he didn't notice that the points had changed. He went up to the old line, and the Caledonian engine disappeared. The big engine was relieved, but not for long. He was decided to stop, but he couldn't. He raced past the station, went through a tunnel, and went through under the bridge. The big engine still trying to stop, but he couldn't. His brakes were jammed. He could do nothing but panic. Ahead was a landslide blocking the line. The engine closed his eyes. He ran over the landslide and ran off the tracks and came to a sudden stop on the edge of the cliffside. The big engine heard puffing behind. It was the Caledonian engine. The Caledonian engine went closer and closer. He pushed the big engine into the edge. An horrific scream was heard, and now the big engine was in pieces. So the Caledonian engine went back and disappeared without knowing. In the morning, no one ever did to find out whatever that engine for that night, but the big engine didn't go in to find out. He was eventually discovered by a breakdown gang, all of which were taken to crew for scrap, because he was too much damaged and being expensive. The workmen assumed that the engine might be ever since existed, or ever noticed that something wasn't right, and tell everything about it, and no one was there to see the matter. Shortly after the incident, some shocking details forgotten their actions, and seems that engine has been found dead on the siding. And whatever that engine, for that whatever happened to Caledonian, for that Caledonian engine was the 5th victim to the big engine. It was also revealed for that engine who always trying to taking on the scrapyard and sent away by Aryan Bird. For this moment, the two engines have missingly had some guilt for all their actions. For one buffer, they weren't concerned for that engine who was found dead for the night. But on the other hand, they were enraged. And so, what was they enraged for that? Well, this wouldn't be the case for long. And so it was arranged for that engine for what coming through. So this is the thing about my parents wanting to work everything in what you want, or they want for them. And also, Caledon knows everything of what he wants to the engines. For whatever happens, Well, he wants to be nice and be innocent. The big engine's fate was sealed. Soon B12 has been repainted blue and came here to visit me. And so was Steve at the thing. He told the stories about the whatever sensitive at call it the demon ghost train. But I didn't care. But despite my stern attitude, I was completely scared with fright for that engine, who always known as the Caledonian engine. Well, she was always harmless, and no one worries about much. However, some engines are quick to warn others, and so is the Brighton engines and the Great Western engines. And so, Henry Blue and B12 told the stories about whatever happened to that engine who always killed that. I was worried about much. That engine is childish or friendly. And be warned, if you ever heard of that engine, who always known as the Caledonian Ghost Engine, whatever you do, don't abuse it, or she came back with his modification, it might take you to your grave.